If it was 4, 5, 9, whatever, 5 or 9 a diamond, for example. Oh my God.
It's over to Chris, and Chris looks like he's got. Oh, I thought he had squeezing eyes.
He had 3-bet eyes.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
he was
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
His ace 3.
Yeah, that kind of disappointed both of us.
Now, is Vlad going to play a squeeze here with 9s? And this is a spot where, again, in a deeper stack cash game, I've got no problem completing here.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times, especially against players that can't fold, there's almost more value in set mining here than trying to bang out
Yeah, I agree.
a 3-bet. And he does call.
Yeah, it's right on the cutoff. I mean, if you had like 10s or jacks even, you might 3-bet more.
King 4-3.
He very well could have 3-bet though. 9s are like right on the cutoff of playability, even if you get played back at.
Wow, and Wendy is going to c-bet here. Now, this might be cutting it a little too much in the sense that you've got 4 other people in the hand. Yes, it's a dry board, and she's giving herself a good price. She's only betting half pot, so I think she's like, well, if I can get through here 1 out of 3 times. I'd love to know the math, how often someone has a king or 2 pair plus or a set here.
Yeah.
And you can see that Craig has made the call. And it looks like Chris might get a little frisky with the semi-bluff here with ace 3.
Yeah, the problem is king high is in, 5-way. King high is in likely ranges of like all those players. And we were talking about how strong it looks to bet into multiple people, but 5 people might be, like you said, pushing it a bit.
This is an interesting play here for Chris because, I mean, if he can get through Wendy, and if he doesn't think that Craig is flatting, if Craig could be flatting with straight draws or something like that, if he's not flatting with a monster, this could work. I don't like to make this play very much on king high boards, Jeff, because I feel like sometimes people can't get away from top pair when it's not going to change.
Right.
But say this board was 10-3-4, I would like to play a lot better. And you can see that Craig's not going to fold here.
Right.
Or say the board's 9-3-4, I would like this play with ace 3. But king 3-4, I just don't know if people are releasing. Now the turn is a 4.
It's because of the king, it's less likely you have a set. I mean, on a 10-3-4, it's a little bit more likely. And someone with top pair on a more vulnerable board will, it's easier to get them off it.
There's also a very good chance that overcards are going to come the top pair at some point. It's not going to happen with the king. Turn here is a 4. What is Chris repping now, and what does he think that Craig has? He could make a very small bet here and get Craig off of a hand like 5-6, ace deuce, ace 5, but at the same time, he actually has those hands beat.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's doing this with pure air. If he had a hand like Jack 10 here, he might need to bet 175.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough spot to know what to do. I mean, you can't fire another bullet, but yeah, he does have value, and
yeah, Craig's not going. I mean, again, I've seen Craig play on the show. He doesn't like the fold. A quick call here, and this is just a spot now. Now the pot. This is what I talk about. You don't triple barrel live players. The pot's 1,000. Craig's got about 700 left, and how much does Chris have? Chris has got about 665 left.
Yeah.
So is he going to bluff off his entire stack here on the river? The river is a deuce.
Problem is the board paired, so it's even less likely he has a set. So the story becomes less believable on the turn, and there's no.
I mean, he could have pocket 3s, or he could have quad 4s.
He can certainly have 3s or 4s. It just makes it slightly less likely when the board pairs.
One other hand that maybe if he raised on the come with that comes in now is 5-6.
Yeah.
But again, at this point with this pot, I don't think I'm trying to bluff a live player here when he's committed this much money. Now, it looks like he's going for it, but in all my material, I say this is not the way that you're going to make money in live poker. Now, it may work, and I may look like an idiot, but you really, at this level, are trying to maximize value. Like, if you had 3s full here, this would be great. Now he's moved in. If you had 3s full here, this would be great, and this is the way to play it.
Yeah.
In this particular spot, though, like I said,
it might work, but
work.
it's such a tough board texture to do it that, he's really, The 5-6 did come in, though. That I don't know if Craig is really, like, factoring that in, or if he just is factoring in was he already beat.
But then, again, at the same time, though, it's so rare that someone does triple barrel that this might work because he's shown so much strength. I'm just saying that as an overall game plan, this is not the most optimal way to attack this game.
This is like a tournament play, I would say.
Yeah,
Definitely a tournament
where
style.
tournament style, because a guy in a tournament might be more likely to fold because if he's wrong, he's out, type of thing.
Just in the long run, making this kind of play is maybe something you would do more in a tournament.
Yeah.
But you know, here at the same time, it's real money, so maybe he's more likely to fold here. You know, depending on the player.
Now, I don't know if Craig can put it together, though, the fact that the 4 is a really good card for him, because really the only set now is pocket 3s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, could Chris have King 4 suited? Maybe, but I tend to doubt it.
And yeah, you might be afraid of the draw getting.
You know what would be an unbelievable play is if Craig had flatted Wendy with Ace King and played it this way. I would play Ace King this way if you flatted him, because you know that Craig's got a king here, and you basically play it like a set.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a genius play with Ace King.
Right.
But
and you know you're not beat. If you had Ace King here, you would know you're not beat.
But at this level, I see so many people check back Ace King for no reason, just because the pot's big. By the way, the pot's about 650. Or excuse me, it's 650, 1600 to call. So he's getting about 2.5 to 1 here.
It seems tough to call turn and then fold river. But, you know, it's real money, and there hasn't been any, this is the first, you know, real bluff at this table. And I don't know if he knows this player, if they know each other, have any history.
I'm just saying, you know, what I'm saying is that if I'm Craig, most of the time I'm going to fold here, because I don't see this type of aggression. I'm just saying, I don't usually like to go with this play as a pure bluff.
Yeah.
Because so many times you're going to get called down against recreational players that you want to be taking these lines for value.
Yeah.
And he calls. And he's and he's like, good call.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, I mean, and he's like, wow, how can you call there? And some of the time that's going to work. But why not put yourself in a position where you're doing that for value instead of a bluff?
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah, against a recreational player.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was the board texture. I mean, I like running bluffs, but I think it was a tricky spot to try and bluff a player off.
It's a bad card. And I've tweeted about this before too. When you're trying to run a bluff by bluff raising the flop, like this guy did, one of the worst cards that you can get is a board pair turn card.
Yeah.
Obviously, like top pair is the worst, right? Like if a king came and you know he's got a king, that's the worst. But for those reasons that we talked about, there's just people look at it and they're like, well, not only is it, I mean, maybe Craig's not thinking like we are, like combinations-wise it's less likely. I think what Craig might be thinking is, what would this guy bet a full house on the turn? I think that's more of the recreational school of thought. Wouldn't he check a full house? And then they're like, what does he have? Because would he bet that hard?
Right.
You know?
It just didn't add up for him, I guess. I mean, it was a good call.